The sea does not forgive mistakes, it only postpones them. After the desperate escape that nearly cost them their souls, the Avenger of the Seas was nothing more than a floating wooden coffin, dragging itself heavily across the leaden waters. The mainmast, once proud and imposing, now bore the deep scar of a lightning strike and the blackened marks of enemy fire, while the sails, torn like a beggar's rags, flickered lifelessly in a cold wind. The smell of burnt gunpowder still clung to the damp timbers, mingling with the acrid scent of brine and the sweat of men who no longer knew if they were alive or merely waiting for the moment to sink. The silence that fell over the deck was heavier than any storm. It was the silence of exhaustion and doubt. While Sinclair kept his eyes fixed on the horizon, his hands clenched over the railing, Jasper was deep within the shadows of the lower decks. To him, the sound of water rhythmic against the broken hull wasn't just noise, it was voices. Every groan of the compromised wood sounded like a cry of agony from the past. Jasper saw the reflection of his own demons in the cracks, where the ocean incessantly tried to invade his refuge. Every hammer blow he struck to seal the hull, every nail he drove with trembling hands, was an echo of an ancient shipwreck he never had the courage to confess. He was a navigator who feared the depths, a man whose hands knew the secrets of the currents, but whose heart beat to the rhythm of panic. Sinclair knew this. He saw the cold sweat on his first mate's face, but he needed Jasper's mind, even if the man's soul was in tatters. Without him, the ship was nothing but a pile of drifting planks. The days of repair felt like centuries of isolation. Every patch on the sail was a war scar, and the crew, exhausted and hungry, looked to their captain for a direction he himself wasn't sure he possessed. It was then, in the dim light of the captain's cabin, upon a dynamic oak table stained by time, that, Sinclair placed the golden compass. The artifact did not point north. Its needle spun erratically in frantic circles, as if searching for a pulsing heart amidst the void. Sinclair took a deep breath and removed the pendant from his neck, an object he guarded as if it were his own life. The dull metal of the jewelry seemed to gain a pulsing glow as it drew near the compass. There was a time when he was not a fugitive, a time when his name was not whispered with fear in the ports. The pendant was the last heritage of a lineage of guardians who had failed their most sacred mission. Sinclair could still feel the weight of his father's gaze and the promise made under blood and salt. That object was not just an ornament, it was the key, the calibration piece needed to align destiny itself. The moment the pendant touched the glass of the compass, a sharp snap echoed through the cabin and the needle stopped dead. It did not point to any known land, any safe harbor, or any trade route. It pointed directly into the abyss. Jasper climbed to the deck shortly after, his face pale and eyes sunken, handing the helm to Sinclair, not out of courage, but out of a visceral need to finish what they had started. He whispered that the sea was calling, and that this time, it would not accept mere wood and nails as payment. With the ship minimally functional, they set sail, leaving behind the world they knew, and entering mists that no map had ever dared to record. Sinclair finally revealed the truth he had been carrying to the crew. The pendant belonged to those who once tamed the tides, and the compass was the only guide to the graveyard of kings, a mythical place where time folds upon itself and the dead guard the secrets of the oath. As they forged ahead, the waters became unnervingly calm, a supernatural stillness, and the sky took on a sickly purple hue, as if the very air were infected by ancient magic. On the horizon, a colossal silhouette began to emerge from the thick fog. It was not an island, nor an ordinary ship. It was something the compass recognized with an intense vibration, but something Jasper's heart had feared since his first day at sea. The oath of the seas was about to claim its final price, and Sinclair's broken vessel was now the only thing standing between the salvation of their souls and eternal oblivion in the frozen depths of the unknown. Every passing wave was one step closer to a judgment that none of them were ready to face.